All right, everybody. Welcome to OSA Con 2021, the Open Source Analytics Conference. I'm Robert Hodges, and I'm introducing the conference on behalf of the Altinity team. I'd like to welcome you all here, and let's get going. In this talk, what we're going to do is just give an overview of some of the things that are happening in this conference, as well as some information that will help you navigate around. So with that, let me jump in. Just a little bit about my background. My name is Robert Hodges. I'm the CEO of Altinity. We are the folks sponsoring this conference. This is something we decided to put together about 3 months ago. We'll tell you a little bit more about why we did that when we get to that part of the talk. My background is I'm a database geek, like most people attending this conference today, and really looking forward to learning all about databases and what people are particularly doing around open source analytics. A little bit about Altinity.com, the sponsors of this conference. We're the enterprise provider for ClickHouse. It's a very popular open source data warehouse. It speaks SQL. You'll hear more about it in talks today. We run a managed version of ClickHouse in Altinity.cloud, and we do consulting as well as subscription support, helping over 100 customers. So with that, let's dive in. What is OSA Con? So this is a project that is designed to meet what we think is a new niche in the market for conferences. And the basic idea is to unite this whole plethora of open source analytic projects that are being developed all over the world by hundreds or even thousands of people. Unite those projects with each other, as well as the developers who are building analytic applications on top of them. So that's where we got the logo. It's kind of like these overlapping subsets of the analytic applications and the open source projects. So we think that's an important area to focus on. There is practically everyone who is attending this conference today is involved in one or more communities of specific projects, but what we feel is there's a larger community of analytics in general, and that's what this conference is designed to serve. I'd like to give just a little bit of overhead or sort of introduction on this. Our first formatting error has already appeared. We have a total of 22 talks, including this one. They are really great. We were really honored at the number of presenters who sent, answered the call for papers. And we have some just really, really great talks. Many of them have multiple presenters. We have a couple of panel discussions and then many more beyond that. All of the talks will be recorded. So this one is being recorded right now, and both the slides and the video will be shared afterwards. In fact, this talk is pretty much like your average Zoom webinar. So all of the capabilities that you're accustomed to are going to be present there as well, including having everything properly recorded. Speaking of housekeeping, there are just a few things here that I want to point out. So Zoom Events comes with this, which is a platform we're using. It's built on top of Zoom. It has this thing called the lobby, which most of you entered through to get to this talk. So if you have any questions or you want to talk to people, go ahead and message us or just post a message in the lobby chat. We'll see it and can jump in. Also, if you have colleagues who have problems connecting or any other questions about the conference in general, you can send email to conference@altinity.com. We're watching that and we'll respond to you as quickly as we can. That's particularly useful if you can't connect. There's a second alternative, which is that you can also message us on Slack. There's an AltinityDB Slack channel. Easiest way to find it is to go to the OSA Con, just Google OSA Con 2021 at altinity.com, and you'll get the invite for the Slack, and you can join us there. We're also watching that, and we'll respond to you immediately. So what I'd like to talk about a little bit is why we decided OSA Con was something important to do. And one of the basic reason is really simple. We work on analytic applications or analytic software because we work on ClickHouse. We support a bunch of the projects. In addition to ClickHouse itself, we are maintainers on a bunch of the projects like the ClickHouse Kubernetes operator, the ODBC driver, and many more that help ClickHouse work. And as we're supporting customers and working with users in the community, we see amazing applications built on open source analytics. And so the first motivation was just to try and share that sense of wonder about the applications that people are creating and the things that you can do with this amazing technology. Let me just give you one concrete example of what you can do with the databases that we'll be talking about all day today. There's a company called Admiral, also known as Levin Labs, and you probably have never heard of it, except that if you're in the United States and you visit news sites, you may have seen them because their logo will pop up if you have an ad blocker in your browser and you're walking the site. Eventually, you'll see a little pop-up that says something like, hey, I see you've got an ad blocker on. Wouldn't you like to actually subscribe? Just like this, or allow ads, just like this pop-up that we see right here. Well, that's not so unusual. What is unusual is what's going on behind the scenes to make this work. There's a database, which is a very high-performance analytic database, which is basically capturing information as you walk through the site in real time, and also in real time as pages are loading is asking the question and answering, is it time to open up, to pop this question about removing the ad blocker and maybe opening a subscription. Admiral has about 20 milliseconds to answer that question from the data warehouse that's backing it. They are able to speed it up a little bit because they have Redis in front of it. So they get their P95 response time now down to 12 milliseconds. This is the kind of application that you can build with the databases that we're going to be talking about today. We call these low latency SQL data warehouses. There's a number of them now. They are all open source and they are very, very powerful. It's a very, very powerful technology. This doesn't just make existing businesses better. You can do that with Snowflake. This enables entirely new businesses because of the ability to answer questions really quickly, like in milliseconds, on enormous data sets that run to hundreds of billions or trillions of rows. So this is something that we think should be shared. There are a number of these databases, many technologies that work with them, many people building these apps. And so OSA Con is designed to share that knowledge and promote the synergies between all of us working together to build these applications and make the underlying projects better. Just a little bit about what you can expect today. There is, as I said, there's a really great session coming up. Analytic projects. So if you're new to or familiar with analytic technology and the projects behind them, there's lots for you here. So we'll have the analytic applications tend to consist of 3 parts. There's something to load data and possibly transform it on the way in. There's a data warehouse that is going to contain the information and answer a question quickly. And then there's going to be visualization and consumption. We have talks in all of these areas. So for example, we have a talk from Tim Spann, from Event Scream. He'll be talking about event loading. DBT Labs folks will be here to talk about transformation. We have representatives from 4 major data warehouses here. They'll all be together on my panel discussion on the future of open source analytic databases. That's coming up this afternoon. And we have lots of great talks about visualization and consumption. We'll have Srini Kadamati talking about in particular talking about superset, but others besides that. So don't miss this. This is a really great opportunity to learn about this technology and understand what's possible. In the applications themselves, lots of talks about those. For example, we'll have Max Beauchemin is doing from Preset, author of Superset, is going to be doing a talk on data engineering and how this is one of our keynotes, how that's changing. We'll have application architecture and design, so ideas about how to combine things in these applications. Peter Zaitsev will be talking about open source and uniting row and column stores, and we'll have success stories. We've got a number of great talks coming up. Mayo Boliolo is coming up first. He's doing a talk about using data warehouses, low latency data warehouses, to capture satellite data and help people with management. Final thing is power of open source. So the core thing that unites us here is open source communities. And so we have a great talk from Ray from the cube.dev folks about community management and just how to run these communities. We also have a number of talks which just implicitly talk about open source innovation. This is the reason that these projects have grown so greatly and so quickly, is that they have hundreds, or in some cases even thousands, of people making contributions to them. So that open source innovation and the way that that feeds into these projects, you'll see throughout the talks today. And finally, you get a chance to meet some people in some really great communities that, if you don't know about them, you should know about them now. These communities are big. We work remotely nowadays in many companies. Sometimes you can feel a bit lonely, but there are communities that contain thousands of people who are interested in the same projects that you are. These include the Superset community, the DBT Labs community. I think that's probably the record. They have 17,000 people on their Slack channel. So these are all things that you can get to know and learn about in the talks today. On top of that, we just have general database technology. I think the keynote that I'm most eager to hear is the one from Andy Pavlo. He'll be talking about new ways to think about database performance. Andy is a really well-known CMU professor, and he'll be asking whether we need experts to write databases, or can we all do it all with artificial intelligence. So with that, you have a tour of the talks. There's lots of great stuff coming today. Let me just thank this conference would not be possible without a bunch of communities that helped us. This is the names of the vendors. Please visit their communities. So Ahana, Imply, StarTree, these are folks supporting databases, PostHog application, Percona, well-known open source contributor in MySQL, Postgres, and Mongo, Cube, Preset, and Data on Kubernetes community, DBT Labs, and Stream Native. Thank you all. We couldn't do it without you. These are folks some of whose people are speaking today, but they've also helped promote this conference and share the information that you're going to be seeing. I'd also like to thank our marketing team. People who run conferences, you can never thank them enough. So the reason this is happening is because we have this amazing marketing team that put this thing together really in a matter of weeks. That includes Stephanie MacArthur, head of marketing, Swarti Bandara, who handles SEO and social for us. You'll see some of her tweets today. John Hummel, who does docs and video. If you've visited the Altinity site, you've seen his stuff. And then Christina Muntiano, who helps us with admin and research and just keeping things generally in order. And finally, I want to thank our great speakers. So as I say, 31 of them, I didn't want to try and list them because I'm afraid I would forget somebody, but they're just really, really wonderful. You'll get to meet them in the talks today. And you'll also get to meet the rest of the attendees. So thank you so much for attending this conference. We're really looking forward to meeting you and to hearing the talks and to hearing the conversations around them. And we hope that you will find that this achieves the synergy that we set out to create when we started this conference.